Permaculture designed for wet climate. Here is a typical soil profile in wet climate. The characteristics of wet climate is excessive rainfall. The soil in wet climate is reddish in color because of iron oxide. Topsoil is very thin in wet climate and humus is absent. Because of excessive rain, plants grow very rapid and also rapid decomposition. Nutrients are stored in plants in wet climate. Challenges of wet climates are soil erosion because of excessive rain. As a result, leaching of minerals, and topsoil is mostly nutrient poor. Some plant-based solutions for wet climate. One should plant living or green mulch in wet season and dry mulches in dry season to reduce soil erosion. Rotate crops between wet and dry season in wet climate. Chop and drop method should be used for nitrogen fixing trees, crops, plants to replenish soil nutrients. Grasses and shrubs with few scattered trees that can also help survive long dry spells in wet climate. Banana circle and pit composting is another method solution for plant waste in wet climate. Food forest in wet climate, an example. Here is an excellent example of a tropical food forest from Kerala, India. Its canopy includes mahogany, jackfruit, and coconut palms. Subcanopy has banana and coffee plantation. Herbaceous component includes eggplant, pineapples. Taro and turmeric plants make up the ground cover. Underground layer comprises onion, radish, etc. Black pepper vine climb over the canopy tree. Banana circle for wet climate. The banana circle is similar in concept to Three Sisters Garden. All the plants in banana circles are mutually beneficial to each other. Banana plants provide much needed shade to the taro plant and a fertile raised bed for sweet potatoes and cassava. Lemongrass act as mulch and weed barriers. The area enclosed within banana circle is used to collect organic waste and acts as a composting pit. Here is an excellent example of banana circle from the tropical Far East Asia. Permaculture designed for dry climate. Here is a typical soil profile in dry climate. Characteristic of dry climate, there is very little rain. As a result, topsoil is very dry and very thin topsoil. Also, topsoil is very low in organic matter. Challenges in dry climate, soil erosion, and nutrients is very poor in topsoil. There's high salinity. Soil is sandy and also alkaline. Some plant-based solutions for dry climate. One should plant drought-resistant pioneer species in dry climate. Heavy mulching is needed to prevent erosion. Sunken beds for vegetables and crops. Plant lots of trees to encourage condensation of moisture in dry climate. Method of chop and drop nitrogen fixing trees. Crops, plants should be able to replenish soil nutrients. Crop rotation and interplanting is also helps in reducing the challenges of dry climate. Swales with shores planted with hardy trees and always designed dry land plant guild for dry climate. Food forest in dry climate, an example. Here is an example of dry climate food forest from Wadi Rum region of Jordan. Canopy includes date, palm, and olive trees. Subcanopy is made of cacti and jujubes. Herbaceous layer consists of tomatoes and corn. Lettuce, squash, and melon provides ground cover. Underground layers comprises of carrots and onions. Sunken beds in dry climate. Sunken beds have been traditionally used by Zuni natives, where rectangular bed bordered with clay burns were used for growing crops such as melons, herbs, chilies, and onions. In Egypt, sunken basin beds have been used for thousands of years along the Nile River to capture the annual floodwaters for growing of various crops and vegetables. Sunken bed capture maximum rainfall, retain moisture effectively, prevent soil erosion, and reduce the need for irrigation. It also protects plant from drying winds and sun. If needed, young plants growing in the sunken bed can be covered by placing palm fronds or other material over the bed to protect them from extreme heat. An example of tomato plants in sunken bed in dry climate. Permaculture designed for temperate climate. This is a typical soil profile in temperate climate. Characteristics of temperate climate, there is a moderate rainfall and precipitation always exceeds evaporation. Temperature is below freezing in winters and summers are mild to warm in temperate climate. Topsoil is moist and rich in humus. Challenges of temperate climates are there's a danger of frost damage to plants during winters and growing season is very short. Some plant-based solutions for temperate climates. Always plant cold hardy and frost tolerant plants. Heavy mulching is needed to limit weed growth. Always plants plant with shorter life cycles because of the short growing season. And adding greenhouse to harness solar heat extends the growing season of your plant. Planting perennial herbs is one of the very common plant-based solution in temperate climate. Mushroom cultivation is possible in temperate climate. Edible mushroom can be cultivated. Always design plant guild for temperate climate. Food forest in temperate climate, an example. Here is an example of Robert Hart's temperate food forest in UK. This was the food forest that Ben Mollison visited in 1990 that led to his incorporating food forest in permaculture practice. A typical temperate food forest can include canopy made of chestnut, pecan, hazelnut, etc., apple, plums, and sweet cherries trees as subcanopy, shrubs of blueberries, goji berries, gooseberries, daylily, fennel, parsley, etc. as herbaceous layer, wood sorrel, rhubarb, strawberry, etc. as ground cover, radish, turnip, potatoes, etc. as underground layer. Vines of grapes and kiwi can be climbed over canopy and subcanopy trees. Temperate food forests are particularly suitable for growing edible mushrooms. A temperate mini urban food forest, Saskatoon, Canada. I created a temperate mini urban food forest at my house in Saskatoon, Canada. When we bought the house, it came with 3 yards, front, side, and back, and they all had grassy lawns on them. I felt that just watering these three large grass patches was not a good use of the precious resources and was unsustainable. So I decided to do something about it and converted them for growing fruits, vegetables, flowers, and herbs. I decided to use the side yard, which was the largest of the 3 yards, to establish a mini urban food forest. Here, you can see the food forest in early stage of development. It took a lot of work and careful succession planning to make effective use of the available land. I also altered the topography of the area to entrap rainwater to reduce the need to irrigate. While the canopy and subcanopy trees were growing, I used raised bed to grow strawberries, vegetables, and herbs. Here you can see the food forest when it was almost fully established. For canopy layer, I had apple and plum tree as canopy for my mini urban food forest. Sub canopy layers, I had Saskatoon berries, black currant, red currant, Nankin cherries, and Haskap berries. Herbaceous layers, I had tomatoes and some vegetables. The ground layer, I had strawberries, mints, and some vegetables. My underground layer, I had radish, potato, and carrots in my mini urban food forest. The hedges in my mini urban food forest, I had raspberries and lilac. When we grow fruits such as raspberries as hedge, they are called fedge or fruit hedges. Please watch the video Urban Permaculture in Saskatoon on my YouTube channel, Permaculture by Prati, to see how I established this mini urban food forest. All these plants are cold hardy and can withstand temperature as low as minus 45 degrees centigrade. Designing for climate analogues. The global climate has been classified into various zones using the Koppen-Geiger Climate Classification system shown here according to temperature range and rainfall data. One can see that large countries such as US, Canada, Russia, China, India, and Australia tend to have different climatic zones. The Koppen-Geiger system is helpful in comparing the prevailing climate systems into different geographical regions. For example, Canada's northern area have a climate similar to the Siberian region of Russia. The climatic condition in Western Australia are similar to Saharan and Sub-Saharan Africa. The climatic condition in Central America are very similar to those in Southeast Asia. Using the Koppen-Geiger climate classification system, you can find places with similar climates to your own by following lines of latitude in order to learn what plant might grow in your area. This is called searching for climate analogs. Climate analog can help in selecting and developing techniques and strategies to design your permaculture farm for the prevailing climate and microclimate. Climate analogs can be identified using levels of latitude on both sides of the equator, 10 degree north or south, distance from ocean or large bodies of water, and find area with the similar proximity in potassium analog site, elevation above mean sea level, average low and high temperatures, and rainfall data. Using climate analog dragon fruit as an example. Dragon fruit is a good example of how growers from across the world have taken advantage of climate analog. Dragon fruit is native to Central America and Northern South America. Climate analogs can be used to find other areas where it can potentially grow. The French colonists introduced dragon fruit to Vietnam over 100 years ago. It is now widely grown over there and has become a popular fruit in almost whole of Southeast Asia. Growers in Queensland and North Territory in Australia have also recognized this climate analog and have been successful in growing dragon fruit in these regions. More recently, the growers in Western and Southern India have started cultivating it as well.